Mr. Murali Pillai asked if the death penalty remains relevant. I'll answer by making the following points. First, does the DP have deterrent effect? Second, what is its effect on the behavior of drug traffickers? Third, Singaporeans' attitude towards the DP. Fourth, specifically, what are the wider harms imposed on society by drug traffickers? And fifth, the outcomes in Singapore as a result of the approach we have taken. First, the deterrent effect of DP. In our view, it has had a clear, strong impact, deterrent impact, based on past behavior as well as current trends. With your permission, Madam Deputy Speaker, may I display slides on the screen, please?
Please go ahead.
Let me deal with the past first. In 1961, DP for kidnapping was introduced. 3 years before, the average was 29 cases per year. 3 years after, the average became 1 case per year. It has remained very low since. Slide 2, please. Firearms robbery. It was on the rise in the 1970s. In 1973, 174 cases. Government introduced DP in November 1973. Number of firearms offences immediately fell by 39% in 1974 to 106 cases and continued to decline in subsequent years, ever lower. Firearms offences remain very rare today in Singapore. So that's a historical perspective, and the charts speak for themselves. Now let me talk about the current situation. I could go on a little bit about it, but let me just deal with a few short points. It appears to us, and specifically to drugs, by reference to drugs, that our position on drugs, including imposing the DP, is well known in some of our neighboring regions. And that has contributed to a strong deterrent effect. MHA specifically commissioned a study on persons from parts of the region outside Singapore. These are places from where most of our arrested drug traffickers have come from in recent years. We wanted to get a sense of what people in these places knew and thought. And this is what we found. 82% of respondents believed that DP makes people not to want to commit serious crimes in Singapore. These are not Singaporeans. These are people in the region. 69% believed that the DP is more effective in discouraging people from committing serious crimes compared to life imprisonment. 69%. There are many around the world, some in Singapore, who say, well, why don't you replace it with life imprisonment? 69% in the region believe that the DP is more effective in discouraging people from committing serious crimes compared to life imprisonment. 83% believed that the DP makes people not to want to traffic substantial amount of drugs into Singapore. 83%. I emphasize this. These are the places from which many of our traffickers come from. You remove the death penalty, that number 83% will surely be reduced because there is money to be made. Just go back to the second question. 69% believed that DP is more effective than life imprisonment. It's a fair assumption to say that more people will traffic drugs into Singapore, more drugs will enter into Singapore, there will be more drug abusers in Singapore, and more Singaporean families and individuals will be harmed if we remove the death penalty, in particular the mandatory death penalty. It's a stark choice for Singaporeans. Mr. Murali Pillai also asked if Singaporeans continue to support the use of the death penalty. That's my third point. Majority of Singapore residents support the use of the death penalty and agree that the DP deters serious crimes. 2019, our MHA survey showed very strong support for the DP. We conducted a follow-up survey in 2021 with a segment specifically on mandatory death penalty. The results are still being analyzed, so my statements on that are preliminary. On the question as to whether the MDP is appropriate, 81% said it was appropriate for intentional murder. 71% said it was appropriate for firearm offenses. 66% said that it was appropriate for drug trafficking. And more than 80% also believed that the DP had deterred the commission of these offenses in Singapore.